I have heard that recently Quebec has gone from confinement to deconfinement. Congratulations. I guess now you are free. But the question arises as to how to maintain the practice so as not to fall back into old, unhealthy ways, habits, and patterns. I would like to ask you, what is there really to come back to in our practice and in our lives? In a sense, it is important for us to come back to others, to the world, as inseparable from ourselves. In a sense, we also need to come back to our selves, our real selves, unhindered, inseparable from all, unconfined. What is that really in our practice and in our lives? I would like to declare now that fundamentally there is nothing to come back to. There is not even someone who needs to come back. I challenge you, I urge you to see into what do you really need to come back to? Some shell, some form, some self-identity, some so-called security that only keeps you trapped in yourself. I urge you to truly see, what if there is no self to come back to? Of course, this can sound scary, frightening, threatening for the ego self, hiding behind itself. But to truly have not one thing that we need to come back to, perhaps that's what it truly is, to be unconfined, being nothing whatsoever, being inseparable from everything, from everything. There is the tendency of the ego self in this situation to want to try to get out of the situation. But I trust you all have seen through your own practice that the only way is not to try to escape or to get out of your actual situation, but rather to go all the way in. All the way. Only there does the way through become apparent, become realized, directly underfoot, where you are, as you are. Is this not the source of genuine creativity? Not simply coming back to our old patterns and thoughts and rearranging them one more time. That's not creativity at all. Creativity is without one thing, to create everything. Truly from nothing, ex nihilo. Isn't that how we need to live our daily life? Truly from nothing to all, to everything. This is just another word for compassion. Make no mistake, those old patterns and habits, the mental wheels can be difficult to really let go of once and for all. If those patterns return, don't try and deny them, pretend they're not there. Let them be your teacher. What can you learn from them? Not by analyzing them or thinking about them, but by fully embracing them and taking them in. In that way, those very obstacles or hindrances, things that seem to confine us, they become the way, the path itself, showing us where we need to apply ourselves humbly, in all humility, to see what is still lacking. Where are my blind spots? This is where the practice must continue on and on in a very good way. I mentioned before, the practice needs to become constant, continuous, not just something we do for a while and then we do something else. The practice has got to become constant without a break. And it also has to become complete in the sense that nothing is excluded, nothing is left out. As you give yourself to the practice, it becomes clear what it is for the practice to become not formally perfect. It doesn't need to become formally perfect, but it does need to become constant and continuous, the way that we are, not just something that we do for a while on our little cushion. The other side of that is the practice naturally then becomes complete in itself. It's found to be total. To put it another way, you can't get out of it. Before, it may have been difficult to get into it from the outside, yes. But at this point, you can't step out of it. An important moment or point along the way. Not the end, but a good place to really begin the practice. There is nothing to fall back on, to come back to, not even being. What's called the hellhole delusion of being in Zen. No, even being must be let go. There is no such thing. Confirm it for yourself in your bones. Finally, I would like to ask you When were you ever confined? Now that you are in, how do you say it in French? Deconfinement? Or what? It's a funny English word, but deconfinement, unconfined. When were you ever confined? By what? By who? I would like to leave time if anyone has a question from out of the practice. Otherwise, let us return to the Zazen. Again, pardon me for breaking the silence. Thank you for listening so intently.